Hello and welcome into Cavalier Tip-Off here on CBS19. We have a full half hour to get you ready for the 2020-21 UVA men's basketball season, and boy, is it going to be a season unlike any other.
264 days, that's how long it will have been for Virginia basketball to take the court once again, kicking off their season on Wednesday in Bubblesville at Mohegan Sun Arena.
More than 6 weeks of practice, 5 different season openers, and 0 positive cases contracted here in Charlottesville. Those are the numbers for the UVA football program, and now they are just 6 days away from actually opening their season against Duke.
Louisville's trip to Scott Stadium was without 7 members for the Cardinals, including ACC leading rusher Javion Hawkins. But for the Hoos, they had some pieces coming together, including Lavelle Davis coming back after missing a few games, and Ronnie Walker making his Cavalier debut.
Joined by none other than Ahmad Hawkins, the ball hawk, to dive a little deeper into this matchup. Now, the Wahoos haven't beaten a top 10 opponent, Ahmad, since 2005 when that dadgum number 18 Marcus Hagans was at quarterback.
We're here for the doubleheader for the Jefferson District Championship game around 7:30. The boys, Western Albemarle and Charlottesville, will be tipping off, and behind me now, the girls' game is underway with Charlottesville and Albemarle.
Second chances in college basketball are hard to come by. In all of sports, they're hard to come by, but that's exactly what Thomas Wold-Tensai found himself with tonight, just moments after fouling a three-point shooter for North Carolina that eventually led to the Tar Heels taking a 1-point lead. Wold-Tensai hit the biggest three of his young UVA career. That also gave Virginia back-to-back wins in Chapel Hill for the first time in program history.
You yourself have been staying busy. The Jay Willie Show has been a product of the pandemic, and you've been kind of running this podcast with some current and former players. So how has that kind of helped you to stay connected and stay up to date with your guys during this whole time?
Players form what they're calling the Groundskeeper, a group with the mission to help the city and the UVA community take back their grounds. The original plan was to have players, coaches, and the community march together from here where Heather Heyer's life was taken from her all the way back to the Rotunda. But due to COVID-19, players had to march in smaller groups, but they still want the community to walk alongside them. He's in a Los Angeles Rams practice these days, so he's not helping out, opening the door for a new QB1 this fall. The competition centered around Perkins' backup for the past 2 years in Brennan Armstrong and Mississippi State transfer Keaton Thompson.
And while the quarterback competition was tight up until the end, Mendenhall says it was Armstrong's versatility and his fire that set him apart. Softball is getting comfortable with their brand new facility here at Palmer Park. They played their first game ever here earlier this week, and now they're underway in their first ACC weekend series against Virginia Tech. And this project has been a long time coming for the program.
It was the largest win in the Bronco Mendenhall era, 40 points over Abilene Christian, and it was Deshaun Perry's 84-yard interception return that sealed it, and he was also the one that broke the rock after the game for the Cavaliers. Let's look at more at this year's UVA team. One of the starters from the national title team was Kihei Clark. What has impressed you about his growth from his freshman season to now? You know, he was that tiny little spark plug in the backcourt. Now he's the man. He's the lead point guard.
Yeah, still a tiny little guy.
Everyone was like, if you go out there and you wreck, what's going to happen? I was like, you just get back up and keep riding. Like, you power through it.
Kayla Kendrick comes from a family of motocross racers. Her parents adopted all 6 of their children. When her oldest brother Devin was 12, he asked for a dirt bike, unknowing that this would kickstart the Kendrick family's passion.
I never had a clue. I mean, it was something so simple and easy when it first started out, but it quickly grew, and it's still going.
Her brothers Devin and Larry quickly climbed the ranks in motocross, giving the Kendrick family name recognition in the racing world. And Kayla wanted to continue the legacy.
Everyone started watching them being like, oh, they're pretty fast. Between me and them, they looked at me as like they needed to show me how to race.
Now at just 15 years old, Kayla is competing on a national stage.
Some people don't like see me as a competition because I'm a girl. People that I know, there's like, oh, she's here. She's gonna come.
The Kendricks spend 48 of 52 weekends a year on the road, going to Texas, New York, living out of the tractor trailer on their way to competitions.
Racing is more of a lifestyle than just a sport. You live it, you eat it, you breathe it.
The kids would take their homework on the road, they'd eat microwave meals, but this time and the sport is what has created an inseparable bond between the family.
You know, you see the little commercials all the time that talk about things being priceless, and the time on the road, the time at the tracks, the time participating, I would say that's priceless.
Kayla has big dreams to become the first female pro rider, and along the way, she's inspiring others to reach for their dreams by just being herself.
He tapped his son's shoulder and pointed at me. He said, "I wanted to thank you because you're the reason I'm here, and the reason I got started racing because I watched you a lot." I think it was how I don't take stereotypes, being a girl does not mean I'm not going to be fast enough. A lot of it I think was because I don't give up.
In Earlysville, Danielle Stein, CBS19 Sports.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Granddad said anything you want to be great at, you got to beat the sun to work. So every day before we start, get out here early, you get your work in, and before the sun's up, you're almost done. You're ahead of the world.
Not everyone thinks of starting their day with a 6 a.m. run through Charlottesville, but the prolific run crew continues to draw crowds.
You get that crazy look because we are walking an alarm clock. We are running an alarm clock, like to say. You just want to wake people up. Get in great spirits, man, and when you get that blood flowing.
It's Friday morning, baby! But this 5K goes beyond just cardio, bringing together people all throughout the Charlottesville area, leaving no one behind.
We're a space. We actually just happen to run 4 miles, but we're really a space, and those neighborhoods and communities we run through, that's really what it's all about.
I think it bridges gaps. You know, there's a lot of people from all different walks of life, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different religions, and the common goal is that everybody is for a change, for a better world.
During a summer of social unrest around the country, community leaders like Wes Bellamy saw a chance for Charlottesville to take a step forward, just by simply running.
When you see everything that's going on around the country, I always look at Charlottesville as a catalyst for change. We've already been through some of the strife that other places have been through, but now we're also leading how you bring communities together.
The run follows a specific route going through predominantly black communities around the city, opening eyes and doors for people into unfamiliar parts of their home.
It was an opportunity to make Charlottesville real, to see what the housing projects look like and where they are. And I'd been living this blessed life, but I hadn't been real in a true life of Charlottesville.
In just a few months, people have gone from strangers running alongside each other to friends, making a difference where their feet fall.
There's different ways to make your statement. You can protest, you can come united together in this run, you can write, and we all got to express ourselves. I truly feel like silence is complicit at this point. We've got to come out and express our views.
No man, no woman left behind. We are all in this together, and I think it's a microcosm of the community. We're not leaving anyone, and we're all in this together. We all, as a unit, make this a better place.
In Charlottesville, Preston Wood, CBS19 Sports.
Coming down the final stretch, Rohan Asfa uses the beat to move his feet, and it doesn't stop once he crosses the finish line.
Whatever song's in my head that day, I'll just kind of roll with it and kind of vibe out to it in the race, and I kind of use it to keep like a metronome in my head, kind of keep the pace.
Running has always been about self-improvement for Rohan.
I began running as a New Year's resolution when I was in middle school. I was like overweight and I was like teased. I joined the cross-country team and I realized I had some sort of like talent for the sport.
Starting his first year at UVA with an injury, he's always working to get better and have a good time doing it.
Getting back into it the latter part of my freshman year, I just was slowly but surely making my way back to fitness, and my second and third year, I just had a lot of fun just running with the V on my chest.
The fun doesn't end with running, and he was ready to show the world.
I'd always loved to dance. I record myself dancing all the time. It's just TikTok came around and it provided this platform to be able to do that.
And he's built quite the following.
I'm pretty sure I have 1.4 million on TikTok. My first video that blew up, it was in the winter. It was in December of 2018. We found the staircase, and it looked like it was like lit up and stuff, and it looked cool. And I was like, oh wait, to my friend, I was like, oh, like record me going up these steps. And I stair shuffled up the steps, and then I posted it, and then went to bed. And the next morning, it was like it blowing up and everything. I was like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy.
I am you. Students on grounds now recognize the runner for his viral dancing videos, a place where he can let loose.
Sometimes it would act as a sort of escape when like school got me down. Like, I don't know, I did bad on a test. I'm like, oh, at least I got TikTok to go to.
Rowan has placed first overall in the first 2 cross-country races of his senior season, striving to be his best while not taking himself too seriously.
Everyone being so unsure about what's going on, you kind of just have to learn to take things like one step at a time. I like to, enjoy it in the moment.
In Charlottesville, Danielle Stein, CBS19 Sport.
The reminders of August 12th are ever present around the city of Charlottesville, but even more so on the minds of the people who call this city home.
Yeah, that day affected me in so many different ways. I had family that was out there, during that incident that, either saw it or heard it.
Dre Bryant, a CHS grad and senior on the UVA football team, is the son of local social activists, and normally much quieter. But a summer of social unrest around the country brought back memories from 3 years ago.
More than anything, I've taken this time to really ask myself, what can I do to make change? What can I do as a student athlete at the University of Virginia, as a Charlottesville native?
Heather Heyer lost her life 3 years ago to some of the same hatred that we see today. Our thought for our football program, our university, and the community of Charlottesville was to take back our grounds.
Groundskeepers, a powerful name with an even stronger purpose.
It's our grounds, and they want it to be an amazing place, and it already is, right? There's things we can improve.
The start of their mission is a march from Heather Heyer Way to the memorial to enslaved laborers and finishing at the Rotunda, walking in opposition to the groups of hate who once walked through these streets.
The groundskeepers here at UVA, we just want to show that that's not at all who we are, that's not what we stand for. And so just trying to take back the power of those days.
For Bryant, the walk was a reminder of how much changed 3 years ago from the city he's known his whole life.
I don't know if emotional is the right word, but kind of upsetting that, that whole entire stigma of what this place used to be, how much the events of August 12th kind of overshadows that so much. It kind of can really get under my skin to an extent.
Now the groundskeepers are looking for the community to join together, not just this year, but for years to come.
And as long as I'm at UVA and head of this football program, we want it to be more than football. We want things that'll be lasting and we can make a difference.